Now they get in this position, and Reno, like I said, is in rough shape. Back to the book. Cool, capable Benteen more or less assumed command. Major Reno had just come through a terrible experience and at the moment was glad to have Benteen, his junior, take over. Quickly, Benteen dismounted his own 3 troops and ordered us to form a skirmish line. Reno's men had expended most of their ammunition, so we were told to divide ours with them. We had Benteen's 120 men intact, and there were around 60 men who'd been fighting in the valley with Reno. And even before we got the kinks out of our legs from our long horse hours in the saddle, we were asking each other, where's Custer? What had become of Custer and his 5 troops? Apparently, Custer was now much farther on to the northward, and at this moment was hotly engaged, but no one was certain. All we knew was that he had disappeared with almost half the regiment. We could hear the sound of distant firing echoing through the hills and valleys from that direction. Custer must be down there. So this is happening. They're in this skirmish position, and they're starting to try and get reorganized. Back to the book. The wounded men who could mount were put on horses, but the others were carried in blankets by details of 6 troopers on foot. It takes a lot of people to carry a down man. It takes a lot of people to carry a down man. And in this case, it takes 6 people to carry one down man. Nowadays, we weigh a lot more. We got all of our guns. We got body armor. It's hard. Guys are heavy. Pretty soon, it looked as if the Indian masses were coming towards us. It didn't take long to realize that this was true. Here we were, stretched out all over hell's half-acre, a troop on this hill knob, another in this little valley, and over there a third troop. Behind, at a slow walk, came pack trains, the wounded men, and the rear guard. Reno and Benteen both sensed danger and ordered a withdrawal. The advanced troops were dismounting and fought as skirmishers. In the center, in a slight depression, the horses and mules were staked, and an inadequate little field hospital was established. But it was impossible to shield the men and stock from the Indians firing from a hilltop off to the east. Indians got some high ground on them. Can't stop them. What are you going to do? They got high ground. You can't hide. Animal after animal was killed, and the men were hit. It was tough not to be able to do something about it. We'd hardly got settled on our own skirmish line with H men posted at 20-foot intervals when the Indians had all but completely surrounded us, and the fighting began in earnest. There was no full-fledged charge, but little groups of Indians would creep up as close as they could get, and from behind bushes or little knolls open fire. They'd practiced all kinds of cute tricks to draw our fire. Maybe a naked redskin would suddenly jump to his feet, and while you drew a bead on him, he'd throw himself to the ground. They're under this attack for a pretty good amount of time, and then finally, the sun went down that night like a ball of fire. Pretty soon, the quick Montana twilight settled down on us, and then came the chill of the high plains. There was no moon, and no one ever welcomed darkness more than we did. We felt terribly alone on that dangerous hilltop. We were a million miles from nowhere, and death was all around us. All through that short, black night, the orgy went on down below in the river valley. It struck fear in our hearts, just as the mystery of Custer's disappearance made our blood run cold each time we tried to solve it. Where was Custer? What had happened to him? So they're up there, they're hiding, it's dark, they're scared, they got wounded, and all they hear down in the valley is the Indians going crazy, the rhythm of the tom-toms, the wild victory dance. They can hear all this.